Saturday 9, October, 1999 Personal experience of dextromethorphan, DXM, Robitussin, 16 years old male, 5, 9, 129 pounds 12:45. Went to 7-Eleven. Lights seem strangely bright and odd. Almost walked in front of a car. Don't think it had to do with DXM. Hey. 12 o'clock to 1 a.m. Somewhat gradually drank an 8 ounces bottle of Robitussin DM. Around half of it was mixed with Robitussin Extra Strength, the other half DM, so that I wouldn't hopefully vomit. Felt a sudden flash of dizziness around 1 o'clock, when hopping fences to get to the shack that I would be in for most the night. Started feeling woozy, finished off the rest of the bottle in the shack. It tasted nasty, made me feel nauseous, so I ate a piece of a pretzel. Felt like I had to puke, and felt a little sick to my stomach. Did not feel like moving at all, or opening my eyes. Sat on the couch for about a half an hour without moving a bit, and didn't talk. Started listening to music, Oedipus Complex, excellent music, especially trip music on DXM, http://mp3.com/oedipuscomplex. The music sounded beautiful, the most wonderful thing I have ever heard. I started having audio visualization while closing my eyes, in other words, I could see the music. I saw a woman in a wedding dress being built with Legos to the music, and I remember a something about a drinking well type thing, a fountain really. Was having closed eye visuals. Was playing Quake, video game, in my mind around 1:30 to 2 o'clock, was amazing. Put in 9-inch nails, fragile. The DXM trip was getting somewhat stronger, well weirder and not as fun anyway. I was having a great time, and it felt like I was dreaming with my eyes closed, but conscious, able to talk, listen, and think. My speech was distorted. I decided to open my eyes now, walked around a little in the shack, had a hard time, but it felt good. Vision started getting distorted, faces were very blurry. Talked a little, closed my eyes again. Things started getting very weird and confusing. Saw myself sitting on my computer, and thought, this, drugs, isn't me. What am I doing to myself? Who am I now? Got confused and a little scared. Opened my eyes and would ask Zach what time it was, and when I would be sober, and if I would be normal again. Kept opening my eyes and asking Zach the same questions. He was surprisingly nice and patient with me the whole time. Felt somewhat retarded and dumb. Mind was numbed and simplified and confused. It was around 3 a.m., was confused. Time started going even slower, 3 to 3:30 seemed like 3 hours rather than a half of an hour. Started to freak out. Dave and Zach were trying to figure out what to do with me, because I couldn't really talk, and couldn't stay in the shack. They decided to try and get me to Zach's somewhere around 4 o'clock. I started walking, puked up some cough syrup in the next yard. I was walking bad, like a drunk or a squirrel. I was holding out my arms in about a 45-degree position, and holding my hands open. I looked quite scary, my eyes were bulging out of my head. Couldn't talk too well, but was getting better with practice. Had trouble thinking and talking, and didn't always know what I was saying. Couldn't focus on anything, very distorted vision. I saw a car coming and ran behind some low tree branches. Started to jog, run in fear of the police. Wanted to arrive at the destination as soon as possible. I looked funny walking supposedly. Got to the railroad tracks, the wooden planks seemed to be floating in the air about 1 to 3 feet. I knew in reality they weren't, but looked convincing. Zach and Dave said I was lifting my legs high in the air on the tracks, and that I looked funny. Got to Zach's, went to the bathroom around 5, and took a piss. My legs were uncontrollably wobbly, thankfully I didn't urinate all over the walls. Lied down on the bed. I would have given Zach his bed, but I knew I needed sleep for it to wear off, and have trouble sleeping on a chair. I noticed my heart beating really fast and hard, and frightened me, so I tried to relax. Tried to sleep, opened my eyes later. Zach was in the far corner of the room on the computer. Dimensions seemed distorted. Zach seemed far away, and was a blurry mist-like figure. Fell asleep around 5 to 6 a.m. Woke up around 10:30. Trees out the window were unfocused, went back to bed. Woke up around 12. A poster near the bed was unfocused, went back to bed. Woke up again 1 p.m., was better, still had a buzz that whole day and slight memory loss. I also looked at myself in the mirror the next day, and saw my image, but for some reason I felt separated, like a different unknown person. I felt that way that night too. That night I had the strangiest feeling of déjà vu, like I did the whole process the before. I was almost convinced I did. In conclusion, probably wouldn't repeat the process, but it was very interesting. Also, thanks goes out to Zach and Dave for helping me out that night.